Hey everyone. In this video, I'm breaking down how the National Security Agency, or NSA, is portrayed in Enemy of the State, a 1998 thriller starring Will Smith. The plot kicks off when Will Smith's character unknowingly comes into possession of a videotape showing the NSA assistant director murdering a congressman, and suddenly finds himself the target of an all-out surveillance operation. Now, before we get into it, here's some background on me. I worked for multiple federal agencies and have degrees in computer science and political science. So, with that, let's dive into how this movie stacks up against reality. And spoiler alert, it gets a lot wrong.
Come on. Come on, Buck. Now look at that ball. All right. Come on, get that ball.
There's no problem with that.
Oh, God damn it.
If it happens, let me know.
Right off the bat, we meet NSA Assistant Director Thomas Reynolds. But here's the first red flag. The NSA has a director, deputy director, and executive director. Only three, and an assistant director never existed in NSA's history.
Phil? Look, I don't care who bangs who, what cabinet officers get stoned, but this is the richest, most powerful nation on earth, and therefore the most hated. And you and I know what the average citizen does not, that we are at war 24 hours of every day.
Yeah.
Now, this line is 100% true. Every single day, there are hackers, spies, and moles trying to infiltrate our systems, stealing secrets, selling data, and destabilizing governments. That line nailed the threat landscape.
Do I have to itemize the number of American lives we've saved in the past 12 months alone with judicious use of surveillance intelligence?
The phrase judicious use of surveillance intelligence is vague and misleading. First off, not all intelligence is surveillance, but what he's really implying here is spying on Americans. Surveillance can happen domestically, but it's heavily regulated. The NSA isn't legally authorized to spy on US citizens. That role falls to the FBI and only under strict legal conditions. Here's how it works. In 1978, Congress passed FISA, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which sets strict rules for surveillance involving foreign intelligence threats. Under FISA, the government needs approval from the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, FISC, to surveil a US person, and only if there's probable cause to believe that they are acting on behalf of a foreign power. Other laws cover surveillance for criminal investigations, but that still falls under the FBI. No matter what, the FBI, not the NSA, leads operations on US soil. The NSA focuses on foreign signals intelligence and is not allowed to target Americans without very rare and specific legal exceptions.
Come on. Good. Come on.
Let's talk about the congressman's murder. In broad daylight, by a high-ranking NSA official with the security team, that's pure Hollywood. Also, NSA leadership, aside from the director, doesn't get security details. The director does, and that team is made up of NSA special agents, similar, I guess, to the Secret Service or diplomatic security for the State Department.
It tastes like every other fish I've ever had.
Okay. Frill's note said that this is the videotape that you need to convince Pantera with, and watch out for the FBI. Frill says the place is under surveillance.
So when do I get to meet him?
Now this part makes sense. Watch out for the FBI, the place is under surveillance. The FBI would need probable cause and a judge-signed warrant for that, and they are renewed every 90 days and require compelling justification, but it is totally plausible.
I need a 1027 on a brown and tan 75 GMC, Jimmy. DC tags, 8 kilo.
There's two main things wrong with this scene. First, the NSA doesn't embed agents in other US agencies. That's not their mission, and doing so would cross serious legal lines. They don't run domestic infiltration operations. And using an unencrypted cell phone in the middle of a covert op, the NSA is literally the cybersecurity backbone of the US government. If anyone knows better, it's them. Now, here's one thing the movie gets right. That really is the NSA campus at Fort Meade. The four buildings shown include, on the right, the old headquarters that was built in the 1950s. That flat building in the center is the second oldest, and the two glass buildings are from the 1980s.
6394 and a 1028 on the registered owner.
That room they show, it's most likely supposed to be NSOC, the National Security Operations Center, which is NSA's 24/7 hub for crisis response and managing cryptologic posture. But it's way off. Real op centers don't have random blinking servers against the wall, and the number of people shown, way too many to be a streamlined op center. Now, every movie loves biometrics, retina scans, face scanners, fingerprint pads, but in reality, the government uses card readers, pins, and RFID. And those giant servers with knobs, this isn't a submarine. No one's adjusting altitude on classified data. They make no sense.
Dick, please do not give me optimistic numbers. I hate optimism. I want to know how many votes we have in the bank aren't going to change their mind every time the wind blows.
Now, the idea that NSA leadership would obsess over one law being passed, not likely. They may have to testify before Congress, but legislation is Congress and the White House's concern, not the day-to-day operations of the NSA.
Thank you.
We may have a problem out at the lake. This is Daniel Zavitz. He's a nature photographer with some government grants.
What TV remote opens a secure database to a specific file? Movies love these magic remotes, but as a computer scientist, I laugh every single time. NSA tools were nowhere near this flashy in the 90s, and still aren't today, and I don't think any other company has a remote that can just pull up a random file.
We need 2 techs with full electronic capabilities, 2 Humpty Dumptys. Get Fiedler to organize it. And call Kramer to get us some ex-military cutouts.
How do I describe the project?
Call it a training up. Host it here. Set up a link with the NRO.
That's good.
Falsify FBI approval. And none of this goes beyond our team.
One line. So many felonies. Falsifying FBI documents, making false statements, using unauthorized seals, that could get someone 40+ years in prison. Federal agencies don't go rogue against each other like this. The intel community is collaborative, not cutthroat like this film implies.
And get that videotape.
Of course.
Get a wire on our bird watcher.
You got it.
Wiretapping in the US is FBI territory, not NSA. NSA doesn't do domestic wiretapping. They don't have the authority or the tools. That's FBI's domain. And even then, it takes time to set up legally and technically. The FBI can legally conduct wiretaps on US citizens, though, for criminal investigations, but they need a Title III warrant signed by a federal judge. FISA warrants are only required when the target is suspected of acting on behalf of a foreign power. In this case, NSA could possibly obtain the data if they had a justification. Either way, it's not as simple as flipping a switch. It takes serious legal justification and planning. Also, leadership teams don't even have access to raw SIGINT.
Well, how did you get this tape? My conservation study at the lake photographed the murder.
You're kidding me.
The camera was aimed straight across at the pier, right where Phil Hammersley was killed. How fast can you get that tape over here? I'm making a copy right now.
Mark, I have to take this. Good, thank you. Call if you need anything.
Now let me be clear. No phones are allowed inside a SCIF, otherwise known as a sensitive compartmented information facility. No smartwatches or Fitbits either. Even hearing aids and pacemakers need special approval, and that's not just NSA, that's across all agencies handling classified intelligence.
I got him, he's rabbiting. He's running. He's out the back.
Give me real-time imagery coverage at lat 3855, long 7700.
Got it. Base, this is local control. Request immediate keyhole visual tasking, maximum resolution. Lat 3855, long 7700. Over.
Roger that. I'll need a minute on satellite visual. Over.
Now do you see the sky? It's cloudy. No satellite can see through the clouds in the visible spectrum. Also, NSA doesn't do satellite imagery. That's NGA, the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. NGA handles all geospatial intelligence, not the NSA.
Hey, Rachel, it's Bobby. I need to talk to you, and I need to talk to you face to face. Meet me tomorrow at 11 a.m. Mount Vernon Square. I'll see you then.
Yes.
All right, we're moving into phase 2 of the training op. Selby's gonna brief you on this, so listen up, all right?
The NSA doesn't run field ops. They're not tailing suspects in vans, setting up listening posts, or following civilians through city streets. That kind of activity is handled by the FBI, or by agencies like the DEA, ATF, or CIA, depending on the mission and location. The NSA's job is signals intelligence and cybersecurity.
I want the entire history of this device, from birth to abortion, on my desk in 2 hours. I want the name of the tech who made it.
Finally, they got something right. The NSA director is a military officer, appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate. Though in this film, he's a 1-star general, in reality, the director is a 4-star and also leads U.S. Cyber Command and the Central Security Service. It's a huge role. They don't have a set tour of duty, but most presidents don't really fire or change the director. They let them retire before appointing a new one. Now, the NSA is a joint DoD-IC agency. Being an agency under the Department of Defense means that that director has to be in the military. And if you want, I can post another video where I break down the differences between the 3 agencies that he's the head of.
Protection of civil liberties, particularly the sanctity of my home. You've got no right to come into my home.
That is the perfect quote to end with. And honestly, it's a valid fear to have. But it's not the NSA, FBI, or CIA invading your privacy. It's Google, Amazon, Apple, Meta, the corporations that you voluntarily give your data to. Your phone is always listening. Your smart speaker is always listening. And they're the real threat to your privacy. Thanks for watching. If you want a breakdown of how NSA compares to FBI, state, or other agencies, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it helpful.